Hello everyone, I'm Tuna. The nightmare has finally come to an end. The hero Alex, together with the determination of the police, has brought Henry back from the hands of evil. In that very moment, the little boy lifted his tearful eyes and threw himself into his mother's arms. That trembling embrace carried both the pain and the happiness of it all condensed into a single instant. The world seemed to fall silent, leaving only the sound of heartbeats and the tears of a mother's love. But my friends, that was only part of the story. In the shadows, a force still remains hidden. The one behind it all, the one who spread so much pain. Will they finally pay the price for their crimes? Or will they continue to weave new traps that threaten this fragile peace? Love may have won today, but the battle against the darkness has only just begun. And the question is, are we ready to face the storms that are still to come? Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss the next dramatic episodes. Henry had returned, but the truth was far from over. Darkness still loomed because the real mastermind had yet to show their face. Alex whispered, his voice low and rough, like a vow. I won't stop. Not until he pays. It wasn't a shout. It was a curse carved deep into his heart. The police chief stepped forward, eyes stern. We know there's someone behind all of this. Someone powerful with a clear motive to destroy you. Alex, we need your cooperation. Tuna lifted her head, still clutching Henry tightly in her arms. The fear hadn't left her, but in her eyes, a spark of determination flared. If it means catching him, I'll talk. I won't run anymore. Red and blue lights from the police cars cut through the night. The battle to bring Henry back was over, but a far greater war was just beginning. Somewhere far away, the true enemy smiled coldly. His plan was far from finished. In the days that followed, peace was nothing more than an illusion. Tuna barely let Henry out of her sight. At night, Alex held Henry, even in his sleep, afraid that if he loosened his grip for even a moment, the boy might disappear again. Then one day, the police called Alex to the station. On the table, a sealed envelope was opened. Secret calls, suspicious money transfers, witness statements, all pointing to one single name, Tuna's former mother-in-law. Alex clenched his fists, his teeth grinding. I knew it. This wasn't just a kidnapping. This was a cruel act of revenge. At the same time, back home, Tuna received a strange phone call. A cold voice hissed through the line. You think you've won, Tuna? This is only the beginning. Her heart tightened, her hands trembling as she held Henry even closer. And just then, Alex returned in time. He gripped Tuna's shoulder firmly, his voice steady and unshakable. Don't worry. This time, we're not just defending ourselves. We're going to end this once and for all. The final pieces of evidence closed in tight. That night, Alex and Tuna stepped into the interrogation room, where behind the cold glass sat the woman who had caused so much pain. She sat still, her face blank cold, almost proud, as if she felt no remorse for what she had done. Tuna's throat tightened as memories cut deep. Those hateful stares, those cruel words, the days she had been pushed to the edge of despair. Now every mask had fallen, exposing the truth at last. Through tears, she whispered, how could she do this? To her own grandchild, Alex gripped her hand firmly. His voice, steady, decisive like a verdict. She has no power over us anymore, but she will pay the price. The mother-in-law's eyes flashed with fierce hatred, though buried in them was the shadow of defeat. Her lips curled as she spat out coldly. Sooner or later, everything you have, Alex, will fall apart. The officer's voice cut through the air, sharp as the toll of justice. The trial is unavoidable. Later that night, under the silver glow of the moon, across the quiet yard, Henry slept peacefully in his mother's arms. Alex sat beside them, eyes fixed on the woman he loved. He leaned closer, his voice carrying a vow etched into his heart. I promise this will be the last time anyone tries to tear us apart. No matter what, I'll always be by your side. Tuna stayed silent, tears streaming down her face, but this time they were tears of faith and hope. Their story wasn't just about bringing Henry back from the darkness. It was proof that love, courage, and justice are stronger than any hatred. Pain may leave scars, but from those very scars comes the true understanding of happiness and family. Henry was home again, and with him an eternal truth: no darkness lasts forever, because love and light will always find a way through. The whole room felt suffocating. Tuna clutched her chest, every sob tearing through her throat, her eyes swollen and red after days drowned in tears. Since the moment Henry disappeared, every second had been like a knife carving into a mother's heart. Alex, the young CEO, never left her side. He had given up everything, standing by her without a single step back. In that stifling darkness, his calm voice was the only lifeline keeping Tuna from falling into despair. And finally, the truth came out. After days of pushing himself to the limit, Alex was worn down. The tall, strong man she once knew now looked thinner. His face, pale, his eyes sunken with exhaustion. The dark circles beneath his eyes told the story of endless nights of worries he'd carried alone for Tuna and Henry. Sitting beside him, Tuna's eyes filled with worry. For the first time, she saw that Alex, the man who had always protected her, always stood as a shield for her, and her son could also be fragile, could also need a shoulder to lean on. Her heart ached. All the emotions she had held back came rushing out in that single moment. She gently placed her hand on his cheek, her voice trembling. "You've been strong for too long, Alex. It's time to let me be here for you." Alex closed his eyes, saying nothing, but his hand gripped hers tightly, as if pouring all his trust and gratitude into that touch. Tuna leaned down and pressed a gentle kiss on his forehead. That fragile touch, filled with love, was like a quiet flame slipping into Alex's heart. He opened his eyes, still tired, but with a new light shining through. A light of life, a light of faith that he wasn't fighting alone anymore. In that moment, Tuna understood that love wasn't just about being protected. It was about holding each other's hands and facing the darkest days together. And in her gentle embrace, Alex found a new strength, the kind born only from her love. Alex lay on the bed, his breathing slow and heavy. Beside him, Henry was curled up like a little kitten, his innocent face calm and peaceful. The boy's tiny hand reached out unconsciously and touched Alex's, making him smile faintly. In that moment, all the pain and exhaustion seemed to fade away, replaced by a simple happiness he had never truly known before the happiness of a real home. In the kitchen corner, Tuna quietly tended the fire. The flickering flames reflected on her face, making her eyes glow even warmer. Her hands moved gently as she stirred the small pot of porridge, every motion filled with care, as if she was pouring all her love and worry into it. The rising steam carried the soft, soothing scent of fresh rice, filling the air and easing the heaviness left behind by stormy days. When Tuna turned her head, she caught Alex's gaze. His face was still pale, but in his eyes was a deep, unspoken emotion. He had always protected her, carried the weight of everything to keep her and Henry safe. But now, it was her tenderness that became the medicine healing his heart. She scooped a bowl of porridge, stepped over, and whispered softly, "Please eat something. I just want to see you get better." Alex took the bowl, his hand trembling slightly. But when his eyes met Tuna's gentle care, a new strength stirred inside him. Henry shifted in his sleep, his lips moving as if murmuring "Mom," making both of them glance at each other, smiling quietly. That night, no grand words were needed. Happiness was already there, in a bowl of warm porridge, in the steady breath of a sleeping child, and in the loving eyes of two people who had walked through darkness to find light again.
Hôm nay Alex muốn chia sẻ với các bạn câu chuyện khiến cho Alex không thể nào quên khi bé Harry đứa trẻ Alex yêu thương khi trứng ruột bất ngờ đổ bệnh. Tôi và Tuna, Alex và Tuna chỉ biết nắm chặt tay nhau tận trong một thời gian những điều phút giây nhịp thở ngập tràn lo lắng yêu là những trái tim đã bắt đầu đi được. Sáng ban nay Tuna những sắc vàng dịu dàng đã lại các ý nghĩ sáng nay này bất ngờ chiếc bầu nhu áo nằm chữ lo âu. Trong trưng nhỏ bé Harry, cô bé bạn học tuổi tôi yêu thương như trứng hoa ngủ nằm thiêm thiếp gương mặt đỏ bừng vì sốt đuông lá hồng ngày nào nay tái nhợt. Đôi mắt to tròn chỉ còn khép hờ yếu ớt với tiếng khóc đứt vang mệt mỏi đang lên từng cơn dao xoáy thẳng vào trái tim tôi. Tôi cầu hôn Tuna dưới cánh trăng, cái gật đầu của người không ngọt ngào cô đã biến cuộc đời tôi thành một sự này. Tôi đã hứa rằng cả đời này sẽ bảo vệ yêu thương hai mẹ con bằng tất cả những gì có. Dẫu tôi không phải là cha ruột Harry và tôi đã sống vì lời nó những đêm trăng trắng, tập hát ru dù lạc nhịp, những lời buồn về thay